Oh man, what a week for Hazbin Hotel. The huge emotional Lucifer reveal episode followed by some absolutely massive lore bombs in episode 6. Plus, this episode is set in heaven, and some of the twists and turns this story and world are taking have me pretty excited about the possibilities here. If you haven't seen my video about episode 5, Dad Beat Dad yet, make sure you check that one out. But this one is going to focus on episode 6, Welcome to Heaven, and, well, heaven, and the really exciting angles they're taking with the society itself. So let's do it. But first, today's video is brought to you by my wonderful patrons. If you're a fan of the channel and want to support me directly, the best way to do that is Patreon, which comes with a bunch of exclusive perks. Currently, there are 5 BoJack audio commentaries exclusively on that platform, with a new one releasing every week. Basically an audio track you can line up while watching the show to hear my takes and comments on the series in real time, conveniently located on a private podcast RSS feed. There's also currently 20 minutes worth of sneak peeks for my massive video that'll be releasing in a couple of months, and there will be plenty more looks at that video before it's released. Tiers start as low as $1, and today I want to specifically shout out our top tier patron, Miss Book Gal. Thank you so much, Miss Book Gal. I couldn't do it without the support of viewers like you. Patreon is the best way to support me directly, and I can't thank you enough for watching. So, this latest episode of Hazbin lays out some of the most intriguing possibilities in the series so far. I previously mentioned that I was a little disappointed in how quickly they portrayed heaven as being kinda just as shitty as hell, but as it turns out, that vibe was pretty unique to Adam, who does absolutely suck. Heaven actually has a lot more nuance and big question marks, and the reveals in this episode, I expect, could lead to an uprising in heaven itself. I'll talk more about that later. After her reconnection with her father, this episode sees Charlie and Vaggie actually get to visit heaven. And even just the fact that they get this opportunity says a ton. Despite being banished, Lucifer still has some pull in heaven, even though his mere mention still gets reactions like this one.
Oh, fuck! Yeah! Oh, yikes, am I right? Are you sure you're in the right place?
I am very curious exactly where these connections lie. Is he specifically close with Sarah still? Does he regularly communicate with anyone he left behind? I'd love to see Lucifer's lingering threads to his former home explored in future episodes. Through this first musical sequence, Welcome to Heaven, we get a much closer look at heaven itself. It's more like the lovely utopia people may have expected. And though there's definitely more than meets the eye when it comes to the inner workings of heaven, it also seems pretty clear that Adam is a real outlier, and that other angels and other residents of heaven aren't just foul-mouthed pricks on a power trip like he is. But Adam's role is also the biggest factor in what I expect to be a massive problem for heaven as a society, and that is the big reveal about the extermination itself.
What was the Seraphim's one rule?
No one but the exorcist can know about the exterminations, I know.
Which obviously makes a ton of sense. It's a bit much to expect that everyone in heaven is just down for a full-on genocide of the people of hell, even if they believe they earned their way down there. But the fact that this is something that's been sanctioned by the high-ranking seraphims and is fully kept a secret from most of heaven, even some of the other seraphims, I think will spell major trouble for heaven moving forward. Especially given the reaction from Emily, one of the lower-ranking seraphims, who is absolutely the standout character in this episode. Man, do I love her. The way she instantly takes to Charlie and is so excited to show her around heaven is exactly the type of person who should be in a leadership position in heaven, in my opinion.
After you see around, you'll never want to go back down. Of course it is just temporary.
And this also had me thinking about Charlie, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but Charlie is the one being that resides in hell that never got a chance to earn her way into heaven, right? She's the one person that was born there and simply grew up in hell her entire life. She never lived on earth, her sins were never judged. It's a very interesting idea that I hope the show explores more. I think it could be super interesting if heaven were to acknowledge that Charlie herself deserves to be judged and get a chance to be led into heaven, only for her to stay in hell to help her friends at the hotel. Though there also seems to be a question as to how heaven even judges the people it lets in, which was a huge bomb of a reveal for not just the audience, but Emily as well.
Wait, none of you know what gets someone into heaven?
This questioning stops now. We know when a soul arrives.
I love this development, these little questions slowly chipping away at the armor around heaven, and especially how Charlie proving that Angel has started to improve during his time at the hotel fully wins over Emily and has her questioning exactly what she's a part of, particularly when she learns about the extermination and that Sarah approved it. And it was crazy satisfying to just see Charlie and Emily jump up and sing in unison for the remainder of this song. Her final cry to Charlie as the judge unfairly rules against her, I think, is going to play majorly into the end of the season or series beyond.
Charlie, don't give up on this. I'll figure something
And there is no doubt that Emily has been inspired here, that she's now questioning the entire system that she helps to uphold, and she seems to have a much firmer grasp of the morality of the situation, given that Sarah has made these unconscionable decisions in the name of keeping her people safe. And there are obviously a ton of possibilities here, because I am very confident that Emily plans to do something about this, and Sarah lays out exactly what that could lead to.
You could end up like Lucifer, fallen. I couldn't bear to see you suffer that fate.
But I truly don't think this will stop her. Her eyes have been opened. Obviously, there are a ton of possibilities. I think one pretty likely scenario is that Emily ends up descending down during the extermination to help protect the people of hell, which would undoubtedly be the moral thing to do. And I think it would be pretty cool to see Emily be a new resident of the hotel. It's already such a ragtag group. It would be amazing to see them bring in a higher ranking angel, a seraphim. That's wild. But I think what I'd love to see most is Emily start to rally the residents of heaven to truly make it clear that people do not think what's happening is okay, to protest to end the genocidal extermination of the souls in hell. Obviously, if she protests alone, the likelihood of her banishment rises, but there's strength in numbers, and it doesn't feel like she has much of a choice. I also love this idea a lot thematically, because the entire reason that Sarah approved of the extermination in the first place was to avoid a potential uprising from hell, the ultimate irony being that this very decision could lead to an uprising in heaven, which is arguably much worse. But I especially love this idea because I do not expect that it would work, and to have not just Emily be banished to hell, but all of the people who followed her, that is some grade A heaven and hell drama. Not only a whole group of angels being banished with Charlie and the Hazbin crew to try and help pick up the pieces, but the guilt that Emily would feel over leading these people into hell, and the resentment some of them would feel towards Emily. Regardless of how they go about it, I think Emily for sure is destined for the hotel. She's such an instantly lovable character, and she would bring such a different dynamic to that group. It's an irresistible thought, especially given the chemistry she and Charlie showed in this episode, alongside the other big reveal that Vaggie was actually an angel exorcist before she was left in hell. I know this was something that was heavily predicted by the fan base, but I don't think twists being predictable matters all that much. Obviously, a good twist you didn't see coming hits, but the most important thing about a big reveal like this is the potential fallout of that reveal. And this obviously has some big opportunity for fallout with Charlie and the residents of the hotel. For one, the obvious fact that she lied about her identity, but even bigger, the fact that she was previously one of the exterminators. She has very likely exterminated a ton of the souls in hell. She's a cog in the machine that they're very specifically fighting against with Hazbin Hotel, which I think goes a long way to explain Vaggie's motivations in helping Charlie, feeling guilty for her role, which also, as I said, could create for some spicy drama. And with Charlie's trust potentially broken now with the entire Vaggie situation, that could create a very interesting rift if you bring Emily into the picture, especially given that aforementioned chemistry the pair had in heaven. I mean, even just this brief moment where Emily grabs Charlie's hands clearly had Vaggie concerned. I mean, look at her face. But the other thing that I think could be really interesting if Emily and other residents of heaven were banished to hell is how it might impact Lucifer. It seems as though banishment is pretty rare. Lucifer is nearly one of a kind, but if a handful of folks from heaven found themselves in hell, would he flock to them? Would he try and lead them? Would he be inclined to try and teach them about the ideas and dreams for heaven that got him expelled in the first place? Would these be the first people that he could actually relate to down here in hell? I actually think there is a ton of cool possibilities for Lucifer with this idea and other ideas across the series, and I think I'm going to make a Lucifer-centric video at some point here, so keep an eye out for that. But honestly, the 5th and 6th episodes of Hazbin are easily my favorites so far, with some of the biggest reveals, best songs, and most intriguing questions. I am absolutely all in on the show and cannot wait to see how the season wraps up next week and what season 2 and beyond look like. I still think I just have that one criticism still, which is that I really wish we had more episodes per season. We've been through 6 episodes and like 5 months have passed within the story timeline. I would have just loved to have a bit more time to sit with some of these characters, see Angel Dust's change laid out a bit more thoroughly, to be able to take in the world. But despite this, I'm truly enjoying the series and can't wait for more. What are your thoughts on Emily and her potential fall from heaven, or if I had my way, uprising in heaven? How about the big twist angelic Vaggie reveal? Y'all think Vaggie and Charlie will survive this, or is Emily gonna swoop in and be the big ship moving forward? Let me know below in the comments. Stay tuned for more Hazbin coverage. Peace.
Johnny!
I stay mellow watching Johnny Two Cellos. He talks cartoons, he's a really cool fellow. He keeps you posted on adult cartoons. If that's what you're into, then grab a spoon and a very big bowl of your favorite cereal. Feels like Saturday morning cartoon material. Johnny Two Cellos, watch him on YouTube. Now enjoy this groove and bust a move.